think he was very realistic.
Oh, he was realistic. Okay.
I think he understood that however he did what he did, there was something unique that he brought to the table. And he was happy as long as things went along more or less in the direction he hoped they would go. I think he was sincerely interested in the development of the individual, the child. And that's, if that seemed to be happening, he didn't worry too much about whether it was entirely done according to the way he thought it might have been done or not, just as long as it was happening.
Bingo. I think it's a good summary. I think it's a very good summary.
Yeah, he was very quiet. He was not just off the record, he was off the radar, he was sort of almost anonymous.
Almost intentionally, hey?
Yes, I think so, yes. Often used to wonder about him, what does he do and why is he like that? And I think he was just a bit like a backseat driver, but you know, it was his car, and he was driving it from the back seat, letting others who enjoyed driving get on with it. And he would just sort of nudge them a bit here and there. And it went very well. Well, it must have done.
Yeah, you know, and to someone who's trying to set one up, what I admire Will was that he used to go down to Corlette's chalet once a week and just sit and talk with the guy. And I think there must be some reservoir of transferred information that took place. That, you know, now, how does Will pass on that information? Or update it? Or, you know, it just sounds like to me that there's this opportunity of Will creating not only a school for kids who, I don't know, need a second chance to get through, however you want to explain it, or need a different way of going through school, but also for teachers to watch and administrators to watch. Oh, this is sort of like, you know, Corlett one stage on, one degree from Corlett. You may not have known the guy directly, but when you watch how Will interacts with students or the stories he tells about them, you say, somebody influenced this guy Will. You know, and how can we similarly influence current teachers and current administrators so that they can have some of this bigger picture of what it's like to go through school?
It'll be difficult. As you say, it's almost like we need to franchise Will.
Yeah, right.
But that would be impossible because there's something unique about each person, and if they're what's the word? Oh gosh. If there's something especially colourful or talented about their character, it's difficult to understand how they got that way, because they may not even know. They may not even be aware of how they are. Like I wasn't aware, really, until I had this cleaning for 12 hours experience, that there must be something really peculiar about my ability to, or odd, about my ability to concentrate on one thing at the exclusion of all else. Genetic. But I do know that I blame my mother for a lot of my approaches to life. I mean blame in a nice way. I think she very thoughtfully guided me along, rather than deliberately steered me, you know. She got me to think for myself. And no doubt there will have been people like that who influenced Will, and maybe one of them was Corlett. But you'll never be able to replicate that.
I think you're probably right. Replicating is going to be hard. What's going to be possible, I think, is that Will understands. He's actually thought about these questions. Me asking him these questions was nothing new. He said, "Oh yeah, I've thought about that," and you know, it was this, and then he'll spout off 3 stories that he remembers from his mother. So it's like he's analyzing himself and saying, this is how I arrived at this awareness. And maybe I can create a similar, maybe just by telling the story, it can influence some people. Maybe I can set up a similar situation and have people go through it, and that will help them. I mean, not catching everyone, but that's why I find him to be just the kind of person to lead this sort of teaching school, you know, a teacher training school alongside the actual school.
Well, that might be a bad idea. The trouble with that sort of thing is that if the theory or the basis for reasoning of anything he's saying is going to run counter to conventional wisdom, it will be rejected in the minds of the audience.
Right.
And they will bend and warp out of all shape, all recognizable shape, what it was he was trying to communicate.
Have you ever heard of Waldorf schools, Rudolf Steiner, that sort of thing?
Yes.
Right. There's another reject, but pretty successful, at least in the United States.
Yes.
So, I mean, if he, you know, 100 years from now, if the Will Sutherland method or whatever it's called, he calls it qualified by experience schools. If it's just a sideline like Waldorf, which has about 85 schools in the United States, damn, that is great. Going from 1 to 85 in 100 years, what a success. Anyway, thanks so much for your time, and I look forward at some point to you and Will exchanging more information.
Right. I'll do some preparation for it anyway, but it's funny you should call me, because I woke up this morning and I thought, I really should call Steve, because I'm not sure it would be a good idea for me to abandon sort of the missus and newborn. This is an unexpected thing. We didn't know she was